History, in the simplest of terms, is an account of the past. But there are two distinct types of history that we know of. History, the modern academic discipline, and history in the traditional Hindu sense. To describe them more accurately, there is history as historicism and there is history as Itihasa, and the twain shall never meet. Let's find out why. Historicism is history writing of a very specific type. It concerns itself with creating grand narratives that explain why things in the past unfolded in a certain way. It weaponizes history by providing it a purpose, a telos, that interprets human events as milestones on the way to the final destination. But what is that final destination? Depends on who is writing. If you're Christian, the destination is Christ's second coming. If you're secular, it is a world without religion. If you're Marxist, it is a classless society that emerges from the ruins of the revolution. In other words, historicism imposes a synthetic coherence on the events of the past and believes them to be leading to a cherished end goal. In the words of Hegel, reading the morning newspaper is the realist's morning prayer. One orients one's attitude towards the world either by God or by what the world is. The former gives as much security as the latter, in that one knows how one stands. Historicism has its origin in 19th century Germany. Also, it is a child of theology, Protestant Christian theology to be precise. How? Well, historicism is the central tenet of the Protestant religion, according to which God revealed himself to humanity through Christ, the historical person, and in this way, God became one with history. Henceforth, history became the only legitimate way to know God. Therefore, it became necessary for Protestants to reject all ancient philosophies on the ground that philosophy and reason stemmed from man's hubris or arrogance, while God had shown the way to himself through the powerless, broken, and victimized historical person that was Jesus Christ. Vishwa Adluri and Joydeep Bagchi have shown in their book The Nay Science, A History of German Indology, that this Protestant trope led to the rise of the historical critical method of reading texts, which was adopted by German scholars who pioneered what we now know as the field of Indology. Indology thus institutionalized a contempt for the original meaning as intended by the authors of ancient texts and looked for historical clues in them instead. A direct consequence of the popularization of this method and its contempt for meaning was that history became a tool for doing politics. As texts were supposed to have no meaning, people were trained to read them not as individuals but members of a collective and interpret them in accordance with the hopes and aspirations of a collective. In this scheme, a text like Bhagavad Gita is not about philosophical and spiritual upliftment, but a random collection of bland historical facts that are waiting to be interpreted through your preferred lens. Thus, a Marxist finds nothing absurd in making the claim that there is class struggle even in Sri Krishna's exposition of the theory of gunas to Arjun in the Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, it is possible for an eminent scholar like Sheldon Pollock to nonchalantly blame the study of Sanskrit for the Jewish Holocaust. Historicism is not just absurd, it has been very harmful for the world. Its chief contributions are 1. Secularism, where the end goal is exit from religion, which Protestants have successfully managed while Jews and Catholics have not. 2. Anti-Semitism. Pioneering Protestant theologians like Martin Luther interpret the unending persecution of Jews as a sign from God that the status of the chosen people was now bestowed on Christians. 3. Race, which emerges as a category within history to scientifically demonstrate to the world that the Aryan people are the most advanced. As we can see, it is historicism and not the study of Sanskrit that directly led to the extermination of millions of Jews in the 20th century. Historicism is thus a discipline that offers nothing of value to an individual because it operates in the realm of politics, whereas the Indian conception of history, also called Itihasa, is a tool of sense-making that empowers an individual to understand the world around him and to connect with the wisdom of his ancestors. The Hindu view of history is captured by the following shloka. Dharmartha kama mokshanam upadesha samanvitam purvavritam kathayuktam itihasam prayakshati, which means only such an account of the past which has the interest of a tale, and also bears in it such teachings which assist a man in attaining righteousness, wealth, desire, and liberation, is worthy to be termed history. Time in Itihasa is not an arrow moving towards a pre-imagined goal, but directionless or cyclical, and does not lend itself to political manipulation. Itihasa does not obsess over literal facts. It does not believe that whatever is not a part of history is false. It does not feel it necessary to validate its narrative by calling it scientific. It uses a blend of fact and myth to empower the individual in his pursuit of the four Purusharthas. To sum it up, Itihasa makes meaning and Historicism destroys it. As we said, there is history as Historicism and there is history as Itihasa, and the twain shall never meet.